lots of thoughts trying to come out at the same time. But,
So, James O'Brien slams Kemi Badenoch's ignorance over Netflix series. Basically, if you don't watch all the video, she hasn't watched Adolescence and doesn't really give a
well, I haven't watched it. I don't have time to watch anything these days, to be honest. But I have read about it.
The Prime Minister had time to watch it, Mrs. Badenoch.
Yes, well, they have. And so what I understand is that this is a fictional representation of a story that is actually quite different. And I think it's an interesting story. It certainly touches on some of the things that are happening in the world today. But it is not the biggest thing that is happening in the world today in terms of what is happening to people being radicalized on social media.
But many would say for a leading politician such as yourself not to be in tune with what a lot of people are talking about, that's almost a dereliction of duty, some would suggest. And not least as you have a child approaching their teens.
Yes, I do. So I pay attention, but I'm not going to watch every single thing that everybody's watching on Netflix. I do know what they're watching, and I know what it's about. And I've given a view that it is a work of fiction that is interesting, that touches on a problem in society. But there are bigger problems, such as Islamic terrorism and that kind of radicalization. And the story which it is based on has been fundamentally changed. And so creating policy on a work of fiction rather than on reality is the real issue.
Oh, boy. I mean, if Malcolm Tucker was a real person, he would have had about 7 aneurysms during the course of that conversation. It's not just the ignorance and the sort of blithe arrogance that's offensive. It's the reveling in it. It's the somehow being proud of being an absolute wombat, isn't it? I think... And I think the claim that the story it's based on has been changed is a racist lie that has been perpetrated by the sort of terminally online far right. So possibly that provides a clue as to what it is she's been doing instead of watching this drama that everybody is talking about. Jack Thorne, the writer, was on the Newsagents podcast late last week, absolutely exploding that nonsense. But apparently she hasn't got time to listen to that either. The question, unless it's true that she plays Candy Crush or similar games all the time, the question of what she thought was more important. Did she just tell you that you can't care about Islamic terrorism if you watched Adolescence? It's a choice between the two. You can't care about your own children being exposed to toxic content perpetrated by a man accused of rape, sex trafficking and money laundering. You can't be worried about the influence that he might be having over your children.
So let's take a moment to reflect on what we've just witnessed. A leading politician, the actual leader of the opposition, proudly admitted that she hasn't watched the most talked about television drama in the country, Adolescence. A drama that sparked national conversation about toxic masculinity, misogyny, radicalisation, and the safety of our children online. And her excuse? She's too busy. If the Prime Minister can watch the programme and he's actually running the country and he can watch it, but she's in opposition, isn't running the country and can't watch it. I think she's got herself the wrong way around, darlings. Let's be clear, Adolescence is not just a television programme, it's a cultural moment, a piece of storytelling that, like Mr. Bates versus the Post Office, taps into something visceral, urgent and profoundly relevant. It's art doing what art does best, reflecting society back at itself and asking, is this who you want to be? Is this who you are? So yes, it absolutely matters that she, as the leader of the opposition, has seen it, because when a drama like this cuts through the noise and starts shaping public discourse, politicians want to pay attention. Instead, what we got was a flailing attempt to deflect. It's a work of fiction. There are bigger problems. Islamic terrorism. That was a leap that even Superman would struggle to make. This is a textbook case of political whataboutism, trying to sideline a deeply pressing issue, misogyny and the radicalisation of young men online, by dragging in an entirely unrelated, fear-inducing talking point. But that is what Kemi Badenoch does best. And here's the thing. Adolescence isn't just fictional drama, it's rooted in reality. And that reality is chilling, and she should be talking about it. We're talking about teenage boys being influenced by so-called influencers who openly denigrate women, promote violence and turns sexism into an aesthetic. Politics should be more than sound bites and talking points. It should be about listening, really listening to the people and what they care about. And right now, people care about Adolescence, not because it's TV, but because it's true. Yes, it matters that the leader of the opposition hasn't bothered to watch it. It tells us something about the bubble that they live in, about their priorities and the kind of leadership that they're offering. But let me know what you think in the comments. I've been Jake from Just Jake. As always, subscribe to the channel, follow the Facebook page, and I'll see you next time.
Good day, sir!
You actually made it to the end of the video. If you would like to subscribe to the channel, which, why haven't you already, is somewhere over there. And also, if you want to watch more videos, also check out over there. I've been Jake from Just Jake. See you later.